Okay. The plan is to continue with our tactical system, which is to play man-to-man defense everywhere except at the very top here, where we call it a -1, where they will split the center backs. Everybody's familiar with this tactic. Marcelo will be the free man, libero. We will treat it as though there's 3 in the back, 3 center backs. So let's get this straight right away. Kandi and Siku will follow these guys. If the 9 drops in, Siku comes up. Okay. 9 goes out. It doesn't matter. I want, you guys are going to figure that out, what side you're more comfortable on. Asher is responsible for the wing, but he's going to, obviously the ball's this far over. He's going to tuck in. There's no reason for him to be that far out, right? He just has to have his man in his, here comes Gian. He's just going to have his man in his sights so that he can handle it. And another thing is Asher is there, or whoever ends up being at left back, in case Siku got caught up. Well, then Asher can take the more dangerous player and leave this guy out until Siku could recover. And then Asher, you could pop back out a little bit more. Okay. Tuck in even. All right. And just be there. All right. It looks like a 4-man. Marcelo will be in here. All right. To hopefully intercept. I'll show what the press would look like. So we want Gian, who's in the chat now. So, whoops, Wilson shouldn't be here. Wilson can't make it. So we want to push them. We want to push them to the left. Okay. We want to push them to their left. This is where we're going to have. This is DeAndre Fossey is Kimoy. His real name is DeAndre Fossey. So he is going to be responsible, and this is critical that if this is happening, I'm not losing my voice. That Kimoy is not covering the center back. He needs to cover here. All right. He needs to hold. Last game, what was happening is ball was getting played out. It's a big pitch. Gian was taking a while. He was coming out. They were bouncing it, and BK can't do anything about this. If they bounce it here, there's nothing. You really can't consistently stop that, and then they're off to the races. So this is what we need to prevent. So it's very easily preventable if Kimoy does what he usually does. It's just hold there. Okay. Let the ball go to their center back. Gian will press it. Okay. They'll start to drop in because we're going to try to keep them playing on their left side of the pitch. This is what always happens. Their 7 will start checking down to try to receive. T-Ben, who's one of our, really good defender and will help on attacking. And BK and Nas will take out all, not let these guys turn. If we can do this, this will be a trap, and we can spring our attacks on the side with Kimoy and T-Ben, which is what we want to do. Asher's job is to hold down in case we get caught. If Siku drifts or Kande drifts, Asher will help us. Luke's job will be to hold this side, and I'll get to his point in a second. It's very important, though, that T-Ben pushes up, that BK pushes up, and Nas knows that he's covering the 6. When we receive the ball, you can look to immediately, Nas should look to let's say T-Ben wins the ball by stepping in front. BK should play back, right? Nas should, at this point, like Luke could make a run through, right? Nas could come back here and Luke could make the run, right? Ball could get played to BK, to Nas, into Luke, all kinds of options, right? So we want to unmark aggressively once we win the ball. You guys want to unmark quickly, okay? You want to unmark quickly. Unmark. You were marked, right? Unmark quickly, okay? Even if he marks forward and then you would have to draw back, Nas, right? Maybe, but probably not because the ball can be played through. So, but we want to get used to marking. We're getting so good at marking that this brings me to my main point that I want to get to, so I don't run out of time. So I want to stop on time at 9 o'clock. We're getting so good at marking. It's imperative that we get good at unmarking, because in a normal game, you guys are playing maybe Casa, you're playing like a zone. Here comes Condi. In a normal game, you guys are playing a zone. You're not really always next to the guy you're covering, the guy you're responsible for. You're sometimes far away from them when your team wins the ball. That is not the case in our system. When we win the ball, you're going to be right up the guy's ass. You know, when T-Ben steps in front maybe to win this ball, or the ball gets played all the way back to Marcelo, everybody is up their guy's ass, right? So you're not just going to be like automatically open. You have to unmark yourself. This is why our offense struggles, and it will get better once we learn this. First step was to get good at marking. The better we get at marking, the worse our offense would be temporarily, and that's okay. It's a process. So now we have to get very good at unmarking. This sometimes means dropping back, but other times it could mean sprinting forward, right? Okay, it could mean sprinting forward. It could mean Asher just sprints into this hole, or Siku just sprints into this hole as Condi drops back, right? So you could sprint in front of your man. That's a lot of times where the space is going to be. You're on your man, so really the space is in any direction. But the best direction is forward, if that can lead to an open spot. If you need the support, like in this case, Condi would need to unmark to support, right? Once Condi unmarks to support, Asher or Siku needs to, right? If Siku unmarks the support, right, then Asher could maybe run out or run in even, okay, at that point, to try to break the line, okay? Because if the ball doesn't get played to BK and it gets played through here and start to get played around, okay, then Asher might have to decide, do I need to go over here? And does Luke need to unmark and come down? Okay. So we need to just start to really focus now on continue to cover your man during the 250 so transitions that happen in a game, to constantly find your man. But now we have to take another step and unmark. Now, one more thing. When we lose the ball, if let's say Luke gets beat, I'm going to introduce a concept that I did not teach before. The concept is called, it's a concept of delay, but in Marcel Bielsa's system, he calls it a partial libero. So let's say Luke is supposed to be covering fullback, and for whatever reason, he gets beat. And this guy is coming down. Asher was on his man, right? Everybody's covered except Luke has been beaten. Okay. So when I was teaching this to you, I didn't want you to learn all the concepts at once, because you can leave your man here. Before I told you just hold. Now I want you to, you're doing such a good job of holding, you're ready for the next step, which is someone can become what's called a partial libero. If Luke's close enough, he can catch him, and then you don't have to. But let's say he's really beat. Okay, maybe you made a run, so he's way out of the play. At this point, Asher would become what's called a partial libero. He would come out and try to stop the 2v1. He would do like what we call a job and a half. Okay. He could come out maybe even as far as here, because but he's be careful if the ball is played, then Asher has to do what? Obviously come in. He's right back where he started from, and we're okay, right? Asher covers his man. This guy's less dangerous. He doesn't become dangerous till he comes in. If the ball's played back, okay, Asher again becomes a partial libero. He covers both guys so that he doesn't overcommit, where then the ball could be played through, but he holds until Luke the whole time should be chugging back. And then when Luke gets back, we can get back into our man marking system. So it's a concept called a partial libero. If the concept is simple, if there's a more dangerous player with the ball or without the ball, that's in a dangerous area, you can leave your man. But you don't have to completely leave your man, and that's where the partial libero comes in. Marcelo is a full libero. He has no man. If everybody else is doing their job, Marcelo doesn't have anyone. We never want you guys to become a full libero, because that would mean you're covering nobody. That's not good, right? So the players in front of Marcelo are either man marking or they could become a partial libero where they might have to temporarily mark 2 players. We worked on it this week at practice. We sent our players to defend against 2v1s, which is how we did it. A player would start here, and Asher would be on his man, and the player would start dribbling, and then Asher has to make that decision to come out and cover, but at the same time be ready to flip his hips if the ball is played in. He's responsible for it. We don't want Marcelo to have to come out on that if Asher overcommitted, right, and took himself out of the play. Now Marcelo has to come out, and we prefer that we don't have to do that, because now if a cross is set in, everybody's 1v1, and we lost Marcelo to help us out. So what we prefer is Asher does not overcommit. He becomes a partial libero, not full. He covers 2 players. He doesn't overcommit. He's there so that he has a little bit of pressure, but he's ready to flip his hips so that he can chase this guy down and contain him. This way, if the ball is crossed, we have a better defensive structure. Does that make sense, or does anybody have a question on that? Everybody good?
Yep, makes sense.
Okay. So it's a new concept. We previously
Got it, Jim.
You got it, Asher. And I know probably a lot of you wanted to do that from the get-go. I just didn't want you to do it because I thought that everybody would just become partial liberos the entire time, and we would have never learned. We would have never been disciplined in our man marking. So I was willing to take a loss or 2 while we did this to take a step forward. Okay. So if we have the partial libero part down, we have the fact that we want Gian to shade. Okay, I want Gian to shade the ball when the goalie has it. I want to. So let's get back in our shape. Let's Gian, I want you to shade. So you show me. I want the ball to go to the left. So you guys set up. Okay, here's them. Here's how they're setting up. Okay, let's start off. And then you guys move the players. Someone's got to move T-Ben if he's not here. So you guys move the players. Go ahead. Please move the players. Okay. Go ahead. Where's Nas? Someone's got to control BK. I prefer Condi controlled BK as well, because you're going to be yelling at him to get his man. You don't have to be mean about it, but definitely let him know. Okay. He's a good player, but okay, good. So you got to be careful, Gian, that you don't allow, the ball to get past you, right? So you can kind of stay a little bit back, right? I don't think he's going to play this ball if you're like here. You know what I mean? And same thing with Luke should shade it. You're basically taunting them to play the ball out. It's going to be very important that T-Ben, and I'll talk to T-Ben, does not allow him to do this, to not allow Kimoy to do this when the ball's played. He has to become a partial libero here, right? We talked about this until Gian chugs his way over, right? Meanwhile, the 6 is going to be running in, Nas is going to be chasing, right? The 8's going to drag him in. Just be patient. We hold the ball there. Can't go anywhere. If Kimoy can hold the 2v1, then they can't do this, right? Kimoy has to drop with the deepest player. So it's very vital that he understands this, and I will explain. I'll go over it with him. Okay.
So this is a possible lineup for tomorrow, or this is just
this is the plan. This is my current plan. It's always subject to the change, but this is the current plan. Is to,
So I'm playing the back with Marcelo.
You're playing. You're playing. We're playing 3. You call it three center backs, or it depends on whatever side you and Siku are more comfortable on. If the 10's on this side, you might end up here like this, right? And the 9's here, then Siku would cover. So I'm gonna let you 2 figure that out, you and Siku. You follow me? I don't care. I trust both of you. I don't care which one of you do which. I trust that you won't do neither. That's the key, right? Like you can't, you know what I mean? Like you can't just stay there, right? And let the 10 go up, right?
Right.
You can't both cover the 9. You know what I mean? Like whatever side you're more comfortable on. It's sort of like what we worked on this week, if you remember, like that 3 center back role. But what happens always during that is they don't both stay at the top. Now, here's the thing. If we're pressing to this side, the guy that's going to drop in is the 10, right? To this side. So I would prefer, if you think you can handle the 10 better, Conti dropping in, then you take that side, right? You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm fine with that. And whoever does that has a big responsibility. As you're following the 10, you got to make sure that BK is covering the 8. If BK is falling asleep, let's say BK gets caught and he drifts and he thinks that he has Nas's guy for a second, right? And Nas has to call him off. And then what you would do, Condi, is first, obviously, you got to fix that with BK during the game for me, right?
Mhm.
Okay. But now be another example of a partial libero, right? So it could be Nas. Like Nas should then leave his man, right? Leave your man and take the 8. Okay. But let's say Nas even got higher up for some reason. Okay. And BK was just lost. Well, now Condi has to, you don't want to overcommit Condi because what's going to happen? Right. So you become a partial libero where you're responsible for both players. So you want to get, you don't want to get you want to get close enough that you can stop his forward progress, but not so much that if as the ball is being played, you can then cut it off and just kind of ride them down. You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay. Very simple. It's just a principle of delay. It's a principle play of defense. So everything we do is pretty much is a principle of play. The system we run. It's all, so it should make sense in any system you've ever played for. We're not asking you to do anything exotic, right? You have 2 players, you're going to defend both. And then, if this guy just stays back there and is lazy, well, that's fine. Now you just have the 10, right? Of course, right? So I kind of would rather you there. And just watch out if Siku gets adventurous, though. You know what I mean? Like, you got to call him back. Like I was at the game yesterday, the EPSL game, and Berlin's played great as the 6 for Real Central, and they won the game 2-0 Real Central over Inter New Jersey. And Berlin's played an incredible game, but he got in front of his 10 too much, and he got out in front too much, like if you do something like this, Condi, and like while we're attacking and you get 2 out in front, right? And now if there's a counter, like Gian loses it, if there's a counter here to the 10, you just left Marcelo and Siku, what? 2v2. You know what I mean? Because you got a little 2 out in front of your 10. So that's why, like, if your 10 drops in, that's great. Be deeper. But if he's staying up top for whatever reason, that's your man, right? You know what I mean? Be on the other side of him. And then we get gashed in the middle. We get gashed because our 6 is moving too high. Okay. If our 8 moves too high, it's okay, because I just showed you that if our 8 moves too high, okay, Condi can handle that, right? He can just delay until, right? Sometimes BK is going to have to try to make a play, and he's going to unmark himself from the 8, right? And then maybe he unmarked himself all the way out here, and then we lost the ball, and the 8 has it. So BK's out of the play. So, and Condi was covering his 10. That's okay. As long as we keep that 3, as long as we have Siku and Condi covering the 9-10, Condi can just delay, and just kind of plant yourself here. If they play it, you're here, right? And then you're giving BK time to come back, right? Maybe he comes back here and you slide out and you just hold for a second. And if they play it back, no worries. Then you can come out, right? You just hold. Let them play the ball backwards. It's fine. Does that make sense? So you're the key. You and Siku are the key to, it's not BK's responsibility. The 6's responsibility to hold. He's the holding mid, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I know you're going to do the job well. I have the utmost confidence, and I need you to talk to the players in front of you,
Yeah.
to get everybody marked up because you can see them and they can't. You have a better vision from behind. So I need you guys talking. Okay. Now, I think we have the partial libero down pretty good. We're going to keep sweeping the ball. All right. And guys, when we steal it, you either got to play. If you don't have a forward pass, this is why we have the +1, right? You have Marcelo, right? Not only does Marcelo, as a free man, provide us with extra defensive security, but if the ball's turned over, the 4 tries to make a pass, and the 8 gets it, whatever. At this point, maybe it's Condi on him, and he passes it here, right? And then maybe tries to thread a pass, and Condi's covered. Who's always open? Either if you can't make a pass to Nas in defeat or over the top, Gian, right back to Marcelo, right? Because Marcelo was not marking anybody. Therefore, he's automatically in space. He doesn't have to go as far away to unmark himself. Does that make sense? So the ball can be played back temporarily. But I do want you to look forward first. We're not always playing back. Like, look forward first if you can play to feet. Which brings me to my thing that I kept saying. Yeah, go ahead.
As the ball's traveling to Marcelo, that's the time that everybody should try to unmark themselves.
Exactly. So Condi gets a steal. Maybe he plays back. T-Ben's unmarking. Asher's unmarking. Siku unmarking. So Asher could get higher here. If he sees Siku here, he pushes Asher up higher, right? Okay, everybody's unmarking. Nas gets ready that if the ball's played to Siku, it can be a right away a split, right? Okay. Okay, great. Everybody's unmarking. That is the next step we take as a club. The marking, I've been very happy with. You guys picked it up very quickly, considering, it was a short season and I haven't, we haven't been working together very long. I'm very impressed with that. So now it's you got so good at it. I can't stress enough that you're literally, the better you are at defense, the harder it is on offense, but it's going to make you a better player because you're going to be always aware of who your direct player is that you have to cover and that's the person you're unmarking from. Because let's face it, that's the person that's technically responsible for you. Like, the person responsible to defend Asher is generally this player. It's their winger, right? The player that's generally responsible to stop Nas is the 6, right? So Nas needs to be aware of that that's the guy who's in any given team. The 6 is generally responsible, like 90% of the time, to stop the opposing 10, right? So this is going to make Nas very aware that that's the person he has to stop, but it's also the person he has to unmark from. And once you start getting that down, you're just going to be so open so many times, right? You're going to be open a lot. Okay, so now the big enchilada. When the opposing team, because I have a lot of good players in the back. It's a big pitch. Therefore, we tend to possess the ball, right? We're generally we have good players. So what happens is the other team starts to creep forward, right? Let's say we get into shape, okay? And this is our shape we want, whereas Condi out here, and we're in kind of this nice shape. They're in let's put them in like a 4-4-2, and then you guys move into a nice shape, okay? You guys start moving into a nice shape. I'll let you move. What happens is exactly what I'm doing right now. Guys, move yourselves, please. Here they are in the 4-4-2.
I can't control my thing. Somebody move me to the 10.
Somebody move. And Condi, talk about it. Tell them where you want to move you. We have the ball right now, so you don't want to move it. You want to unmark.
We have the
Yeah.
ball, then I'll
Yeah,
slide. I'll slide, just open up.
yeah, you want to slide and provide it a safe angle of pass for Marcelo. And the reason I like 3 in the back, I like 2 in the back when it's appropriate. But when they have 2 strikers like this, I want 3 in the back. So we have a numerical advantage because it allows us to bypass right around them, right? If there's only 2 and Condi's here, this could get ugly. It'll look like this, right? This is not good. This looks dangerous, doesn't it? You see this? This is hard, right? This is a problem. Okay? This is a problem. This is why I want to start with 3 in the back, right? This looks much nicer, doesn't it? I didn't even move the defense at all, right? And now we can kind of get this nice shape here, right?
Yeah,
See,
more safer.
yeah, because it's just simple. That at this point it's almost like they have 4 players pressing, right? But 2 pressing centrally, so we need 3 centrally, and 2 wide, so we need 2 wide players, and it gives us a numerical advantage. And then an extra man is always the keeper, so it's a 6v4, right there, and that's when now when we have here's a important point. See, I see that you move BK. We do not move BK up when. Do not move BK up. This is important when we have 3 center backs. So when Condi becomes a 3rd center back, BK does not go. If Condi was here, like the 10 was back like this more, something along those lines, right? And we had 2 center backs, right? And then at that point, he can come up, right? Looks because now it's a little safer for Marcelo and right. Siku can drop by. It's only the 1 presser. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Repressing. So now Condi can come in and BK can do what I like used to do, which is push up into that slot between our wide wingers and the striker. You see it? I like Nas and BK to push up in there. But again, so that is our scheme when they do that. But we can't go wrong with this. When they, a lot of teams, they just kind of sit with that 4-4-2. So be careful that if they do that, we got to have 3 in the back. And at that point, it's Condi dropping to the side, right? And then we need BK in that hole, right? And Nas has to figure out which side he wants to go on.
I don't think that's. But the problem is like Nas then, like all that ground to cover like doesn't really work. I feel like.
Yeah, Nas would pick. What I like to happen there is that Gian and Nas like bracket the center backs so that we get a little bit more into this way they can run across in from the blind side. So that's what I prefer. Just saying, Gian knows this, and now Nas knows this. I like is to when we have 3 center backs, I like just to kind of spread out a little bit more like this. Okay. And I want you to count now. So do me a favor. How many players do they have on the back line? Because this is what I'm getting at. We have it's 8:39. This is how you will. If you do everything I've said up till now, we will win the game. If you do this part, we will start winning games by a lot. So how many guys do they have on the back line?
4.
And how many do we have?
4.
And that is, if we ever had that, would that be a problem? If we had that defensively? I don't
No.
like that. Yeah, I don't like that at all, right? That means any ball over the top is a 1v1 situation.
Oh, yes, it would be a problem for us. Sorry.
Yeah, it would be a problem. So it's a problem for them. Okay, these teams just don't know it because we are not burning them yet for it. Okay, so we need to burn them. The other thing is, if they're going to line up like this, you could do this from a tactical perspective. You could tell your team to do this, but I'm going to pose a question. If you're going to do this, you put yourself in Black's position right now. If you're going to do this, what do you have to do at the top? What do you have to do at your front line?
Prevent the ball from getting to the back line.
Yeah, you got to press the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And you don't have much time to do it. You cannot let Marcelo or Condi get a ball to step into. Okay, because there is, I believe Temple is 118 yards long, which means that's 50 9 yards. It's essentially 60 yards of space, right? And you got to be careful. The keeper's there in the middle, so you want to kind of put it in the channel where the keeper doesn't want to come out, right? So the ball has to be sent. Here's what I'm getting at. These teams are not even pressing us when they do this. So they're making a tactical mistake, and we're not punishing them for it. They're making a tactical mistake. They're playing a high line with numerical inferiority. They're not pressing. And we're just trying to like play it here. Then it goes, he comes, right? Maybe it gets to here, he comes, but everybody's covered, right? And then, so maybe like BK now has to make a spectacular play. He comes in, he looks, he passes back to Condi. Maybe it goes, and we're doing this, and we're good at it because we're good players, right? But this is not the way. Okay. The way is, if Marcelo can play it directly. If there is pressure on Marcelo, he can play it out to Condi, who maybe if he doesn't get the ball right away, maybe he then bounces it to T-Ben. If, like, let's say he gets it in an awkward spot, right? So maybe he has to bounce it to T-Ben. The pressure comes. T-Ben then one touches it back, and now Condi can step into it. That little bounce pass, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like a little one touch out to the wing. Give yourself some time, because even though they're not pressing, they can kind of casually get in your way where you don't feel like you can step into the ball, right? I need to stress that the ball needs to be airborne when you do this. Unless you can see a lane, it's very dangerous with this many players packed in here. It's very dangerous to play the ball on the floor. And everybody that's been coached by me knows that I love the ball on the ground, right? And I love, short like rondos, but this is not the time for it when they have a high line. I need everyone to understand that. This is the only answer. I need to stress this. The only answer is to go over the top of this. And you have to clear the line with your ball. I cannot stress this enough. It is the only answer. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I've showed you this before, what will happen? They will start backing up after you send a couple balls over. Even if we don't score, it will scare them. Even with Gion's slow ass. Okay. And then now once they're back and they're playing a mid block, now it's appropriate that they don't press. You can play a mid. This is a mid block. You can play a mid block and not press. Does everybody understand why? Because the ball over the top is not really there anymore. You see it? Right? This ball, if Condi sends the ball, it's not really too on, but now we have what? We got some space, right? We actually have some space to work with, right? This should be easy to play. I mean, if they play it like this is easy. You guys have a big advantage, right? This guy comes at him. Okay, you play it. Now you have a 3v1 right here, right? BK can slot himself. If he tries to take that away, okay, no worries. Asher comes down. Play to Asher. BK comes in, right? We have options. If he tries to take BK, it's to Luke. We can play out of the back, no problem. Because now look at all the space. And if we turn it over here, it's not a big deal because they're way further back, right? And now we can, even if this guy gets it, we just now go defend it, right? Luke is taken out of the play. Go ahead. Show me the defense now. Okay. And then Luke's trying to recover while BK, I love this, because now BK's covering like both guys and just trying to hold. Okay. And there he goes. He might, he's got to like watch this guy hold him and almost let the guy go a little bit and then be ready to step, right? Just try to delay. Okay. This is great, right? We have actually, there's an extra guy here, so you could actually step at this point, right? Asher could actually step and tell BK, go to the ball. See? Right? You see that? You guys see that? And Luke is now the striker. Okay. You guys see it or no? You guys saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You gotta
sometimes
count.
what can happen is if Gian can come back and cover one of the midfielders, and then one of the midfielders can go back and cover like one of the other players that we're not covering, like because
Okay.
if someone's open, we don't want to cover the center backs. Like whoever's covering the center backs, when a man's open, like can leave the center backs. You know what I mean?
The rule is everybody's got to be marked. That's goal side of the ball. Like you can temporarily like lead if you need a quick cheat sheet. Leave the guys on the other side of the ball unmarked and check the guys on that for forward passes. Does that make sense? Because if they pass the ball back, we have time, right? As the ball's traveling back, we have, just like Luke said earlier, when we're on offense, as the ball's being played back, we have time to unmark. If the ball gets played back by them, we have time to push the line up and mark more, okay? Whereas when the ball gets played forward by them on us, a penetrative ball, it could kill us before we even have a chance. So always mark from the ball back to our goal as quickly as possible, starting with the center, right? Always start with the most dangerous players, which are in the middle. That's why we have Condi and Siku there to always make sure that's secure with Marcelo as the backup. Okay. Now, this one deals with, and I need you all to understand this, Gian is not going to be able to press the whole time. So let me show you. Let's go back and let's go to a pressing situation. And I'm going to show you to look how Luke, Nas, and Gian are going to handle pressing duties. Everyone's technically pressing, but they're going to have the hardest job. But that's why they're going to share the load. So show me how we would set up, please, as I move the pieces. They're probably going to drop back further because these teams like to boot the ball. And if they want to boot the ball, no worries. We have a numerical advantage, right? That's another reason we keep a +1 in the back. If they want to play kick, if they want to boot the ball off the 6 kick, let them go nuts. So who's controlling Gian? Because right now he just gave up the pass to the wrong side, and that can't happen. I don't want the ball on that side. Gian, you're giving up the ball to that side. Yeah, like you can even here is fine, right? Like he's not going to want to play that there, right? And then you're going to come around and cut it after it gets played, right? But like just a little shade is all you kind of need, right? I mean, if they want to do that ball, well, then they just fuck themselves. Just come right in, right? So you just need to don't cheat too much because you don't want to make your run. You don't want to make your run like, of course, this will make it obvious they're going to play the ball, right? But look at your run's going to have to be. It's stupid, right? So beware, just a little shaded, like this would be neutral, a little shaded because now if they do play here, you can press so fast that I'll take it. I don't want to press that side, but I'll do it, right? Because that's a shorter run for you, right? Isn't that nice, right? Then everyone has to be aware that Gion's going to, if they make that play, everyone's going to dart this way, right? If they want to do that because they're very right-footed, well, it's going to be a problem. And then Luke just has to make sure that he doesn't come in so that he doesn't get, the old bing, 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 right? Okay, we got to make sure we defend that. And how we defend that is very simple. Okay, BK's on his guy. Condi's going to be yelling at him to get him. Nas is going to be telling him, yo, get him. And then Luke's going to hold, let Gian finish his run. This way, if the ball is played here, Luke is cognizant that he's going to drop and just kind of have that lane and not let this guy get a run on, right? He's going to drop with him. Okay. Oh, you get the idea, Luke. Okay. So very important. Okay. That's the way you beat us is you bounce the ball over, but it's a simple solution. Luke just has to drop far enough back and stay goal side. And now it's neutralized. If he tries to play that ball, Luke intercepts it. If he plays it here, Luke just presses him. Right. And then Gian can do what? Hop over and continue the press. Right. Okay. Nas can step in front. Even BK could like step here and we start to pinch him. Right. Asher makes sure that no ball can, get there. Right. Okay. And we pinch the shit out of him on that side. What I want to show you now is set up again, please. Sometimes if Gion's tired, set up, please. But this time, let's say Gion's too tired. So Gian and Luke can just switch. Just switch. There you go, right? Pretty simple. And everybody knows that sometimes they're going to switch, right? And then let's say, Gian still needs a break. Now, how about, let's say Luke's been doing it for a while. Now Luke's tired. Nas and Luke can switch. And then Luke becomes a 10 to cover the 6, and Nas becomes the striker. And he knows how to do it because he's been at practice and he knows how to do it. Okay, Nas? And you're just gonna, like, Nas even, pointed out that, when the ball goes here, he doesn't want Luke to sweep because then, see it, right? Okay, that's a problem. So we always press from the opposite side. So as it comes, Luke stays there, Nas cuts the lane and presses, and we pinch. He runs, Luke follows, right? Okay. DeAndre holds, and then Nas hops. This is what I mean when I yell hop, right? This means hop over him, right? And continue to press, right? T-Ben pinches. This is why T-Ben's there to pinch that. If the 10 drops in, where's Condi going? Someone move Condi for him. You get it, right? Easy, right? The 9 maybe runs over. Marcelo's yelling, don't go with him, Marcelo. Yell to Siku to get him, because I want you here, Marcelo, in case maybe by some chance before DeAndre gets there, the ball's sent. You're in a great position to get it, and maybe you just launch a counter right into the channel, right? Okay. Or you pop it out to Asher. Okay. So I'm going to open it up to questions because we only have like 7-8 minutes left. Does that make sense? That's our game plan, gentlemen. That's our game plan for tomorrow, is to push to their left side. The rotations, the particular game plan for tomorrow. Our tactical system is always the same. We've learned a few new concepts to implement, but our particular game plan for tomorrow is we want to push to their left, and we have that little rotation with. We want to allow Luke, Gian, and Nas to switch positions. Nobody else should be switching positions. If T-Ben was here, I would be saying, hint, hint, T-Ben. You're not going rogue and switching positions. Okay? We got to run the plan, gentlemen. Okay? Now's your time to tell me you don't like the plan. Does it mean we're not going to make adjustments? Of course we're going to make adjustments as the game goes. But, I'm yelling at you guys right now for this, but it's T-Ben, and he knows it, and I've had a talk with him. You can't just, flip his position. Son of a bitch did it to goddamn Atlantic City. The coach went nuts. He switched his position with Gian from center back to striker. The coach literally went right. Gianni went fucking nuts on him. So it's not just us that T-back goes through. What's that?
No, I said, yeah, he lost the shit.
He lost his shit. So we're not going to allow that. So if T-Ben tells you to switch fucking positions, tell him no. Jim's going to bench me too, because I'm benching T-Ben. If you want to go with him, then you switch. All right. If you want to get benched with him, that's great, but we're not doing it. And it doesn't matter. He's not going to do it. He's not even going to dare ask you. So I'm going to have another talk with him. I already talked with him about this. So I might switch him, but you guys don't just switch. You can rotate, everybody go back to their original positions. Okay. So Luke, go to the wing. If the ball is, I don't know, here, and, Asher makes the run into this channel, right? Well, then Luke, Gian maybe goes here, and maybe, right? So it kind of, it's almost like Asher became like a wing or something, because for whatever reason, Baruch was here, right? So it's a standard rotation that Asher becomes a winger and Luke becomes an inside winger, right? Which is fine. He'll be, Asher becomes a winger, Luke goes inside. This is a standard rotation. That's not switching positions. That's a rotation. Okay. I want you to rotate, right? BK pushes for whatever reason, BK's here and Nas sees an opportunity. So Nas basically rotates with BK. And it's almost like Nas is now the 8, right? You see it? Okay. That's a rotation, right? And BK goes up and Nas drops in. Okay. And then if BK's there, maybe Luke has to move, right? Or Gian drops into the hole here and maybe Luke goes there, right? You get the idea. Okay. So that's normal rotations. I want you doing that, right? I want you rotating. Okay. So any questions? As far as, you know, I know we have Pan here now. Is Pan still here? Not here. Is he here? He is not here. We may, you know, game plan wise, you know, we may move Thorn at some point during the game if we needed him. And then we have Pan. If we're short or something for the field player, we can move Pan in the goal. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when do we know when to switch positions? Luke, GN, and me. Is it just when someone is tired?
Yeah, just when. Yeah, it's not like it's not a tactical decision where like matchup wise. That's not what I'm getting at. Although maybe you guys see something and do it. You guys can switch positions. Like you guys have my permission to switch your positions. T-Ben doesn't. The rest of the guys don't. But you 3 can switch. I prefer if Nas did not become the winger. So I only want Nas to switch between the 9 and the 10. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. And I need everyone else to stay on to hear this until 9. Like that. Nas is not as much of a, you know, as a wide player. He's not comfortable out there, and we like him inside. So Nas, I have no problem. You know, Nas can be the 9 or the 10. Okay. Yeah. If you see an opportunity where you're the 10 and you can sweep, then sweep, and then the 9 drops in, right, to cover the 6. Like you guys know that, right? So just make sure that the 3 roles are covered, right? And if they go 3 in the back, I mean, that's death for them, right? We talked about this. If they want to go 3 in the back, I mean, it's just fucking death, right? Like, it's going to be so easy to sweep it, right? We talked about this. Just so BK would have V8, right? Show me. They're 3 in the back now. So show me what it looks like. I need you to show me if they go 3 in the back like we do. I mean, yeah, that's why I like that neutral. Exactly. I like that neutral positioning is what I refer to it as, right? So that now, I mean, this is absolute death. Our defensive strategy is to literally cut off passing lanes across the field. They're literally lining up like lemmings, like fish in a barrel that's just shooting, right? So if they play here and Nas, right, you know, you could do, Nas could immediately cut it, right, and chase, right? And then if Nas does that right away, like I got to sweep, Nas sweeps it, okay, then Gian just can hold here, right? Okay, and kind of drop in a little bit. There's no one to cover. Like don't overcommit too much. Watch out for the bounce, but you can come in and help out, right? Maybe become a partial libero as he's chasing him, right?
Well, no, you
Right,
gotta
as-
watch out though, just in case like
Yeah, you
they
gotta
come
watch
back to the goalie and the 4. So really, he
Exactly.
does have the 4. So
Yeah.
like, it's
Yeah,
perfectly
just watch
fine
it.
to be
Just
here.
go back. Once he turns, though, you can slide over. Once he makes the turn, he can't get back to the goalie. So Gian has to be smart about it. Once he turns the corner,
But also
you
just
can't
make
get
sure
it.
like that we don't let him go up and be free. So like that's
Exactly.
so that's why
So
he
you
really
have to-
does need to watch him though. He
gotta
really needs to
watch
watch him. There's no reason to do anything else. Like
Yeah.
just watch
Now-
him and then
And you don't want to do, this is where if the ball gets played out, and you're in the neutral positions, if you did this is why you got to watch that. If you did this, this is why you can't do this. Exactly what Luke's talking about. If you did this, like you do, like normally you would do that when there was 2 in the back, right? It would come from the opposite side, right? The problem is he's just going to bounce this and we're fucked. You see it? So when they go 3 in the back, it has to come from the closest guy. Does that make sense? You cut it. You see it? You cut it.
Yep.
You chase. Gian holds, just being ready, stay central, right? If they play this way, okay, Gian cuts it, presses them, right? Nas holds in case there's a switch of play. If there's a switch of play, all right, you switch like that. So you say it, and Luke holds the whole time. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, and it's recorded. If you need to see that last part again, just play it. That's it. This is gonna, and when in doubt, if you're not sure yet, like, if the ball's here, just hold for a second till you communicate. Like, there's no rush. Like, if you rush, you might, like, if it's in the middle, well, now you could hold for a second and try to figure out who the best guy to press is at that point, right? Maybe he starts to turn his body this way, okay, and starts to look. So maybe at that point, because he starts to look this way, maybe you actually go, you know what? You start to creep, and then you remember how I showed you just to shape your body? Start to shape your body to kind of but look behind you and try to force it this way. Okay, try to force it, right? And then you hop over. Okay, you keep forcing it. All right, and then at that point, we got to be smart about it. Like we said, they could always switch it, so we have to be careful. You want to keep going because Gian has to, like, kind of hold back just in case, unless you see that definitely they ain't going to play it back to the goalie. Like, once his body's turned in a certain way, Gian can just leave and help.
Well, why don't we just? Wouldn't it be easier just to do like this? Like, okay, once the ball plays to the 4, then Gian can literally just man up the 4. Like,
I'm saying when the ball's in the middle. Hold on. When the
no,
ball's in the
but
middle.
no.
The ball gets
Okay,
played to the middle.
let's
Start.
go back. It's just, okay, so, right, the ball gets to play in the middle. He cuts it, right? Boom, forces him this way. Ball goes here. Now, instead of Nas hopping over, Gian can just press the ball, and then Nas can just stay as the -1 on these guys and just pretend like the 5 and the 6 are the center backs. You know what I mean? And, like, now
Yeah.
you can press him like that's just his man right now. Like, and if they do pivot, like, you might as well, like, have Nas just stay there because it just makes
And
more
if he
sense.
does, if he plays it back to the goalie, we come
No,
back and let's
now it's
see an
fine.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Gian
But
can
Gian
just
starts to
hold. It's
come
fine.
from an angle though. Gian starts to come from an angle though, correct?
No,
Just
because
a minute.
that's his man mark, right? So, like,
It's man mark.
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
Gian's
it
not
was
-1. Gian's man to man there.
Nas is the -1 is what Luke's saying. So Nas has
Got it.
both 5 and a 6.
Like, you
Alright.
can just pretend like it's 2 center backs and then, like, a left back that's just, like, really far in. Like, that's basically how to look at it. Like,
So, yeah, if they go 3 in the back, and you're not comfortable with it, Nas, okay, just go to the wing and let Luke and Gian take it. All right, you know what I mean? All right, but I think you'll handle it, and if you see what's wrong, you still talk about it. Okay. So we
Yep,
haven't
sounds
worked
good.
on, yeah, but, like, when in doubt, it's just a big advantage to just like we said, if he cuts it, and then you're coming in, right, and once you get him turned, he can't play back, but like Luke said, if you cover him now, this is great because now he's going to have trouble playing back to the goalie, and if he does, right, Nas is right there, and you might decide, like, even though we don't press the goalie, sometimes we do press the goalie if we think we can cause a problem. If you don't think you can cause a problem, just drop and get your rest. Okay. All right. Okay, boys. I'm going to stop recording. So I think we got any other questions?
Guys, tomorrow is a big test for us. I don't know, considering our last game. So I don't know about